And then you got called to serve in the Quorum of 70.
Yes. Went directly from Scotland to Australia, where we had the opportunity of traveling. The area at that time consisted of Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti, Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, and Papua New Guinea.
Wow.
So we lived in airplanes, and that was a marvelous experience also among the Polynesian people and the wonderful people of Australia. And we still have many people we keep in contact from Scotland and from the South Pacific. I mean,
you know, your friends are your family when you're away from home.
Yeah.
And so we really drew close to people, and they were so supportive and so helpful. And our family was just that, you know, having all the boys, they just supported us in everything we wanted. They were proud of their parents, and they were happy to support us in any way that they could. And we got visits from our children too, so that was nice. And we took our daughter with us, so she spent the first 6 months in Scotland with us.
When we went, I told her, I said, honey, we're going to be invited to eat a lot of food we're not used to eating, but we need to eat it anyway. And she said, what if we don't like it? I said, eat it anyway, because we're out there to build relationships. Just eat it and don't complain about it. And so she did. Everything we were served, very odd food, she ate it without complaining.
We learned to love haggis and
tatties,
nips and tatties.
Nips and tatties.
But a lot of different food in the South Pacific, a lot of different food in the Philippines where we served also.
Now you were the area president in the Micronesia,
Philippines area.
Philippines area. That huge,
it is, huge
amount
area
of water with little islands in between.
Yes.
Well, you served in Micronesia, Philippines area as the president of that area.
Yes.
And it's an expansive area, lots of islands, all connected by water. Did you fly between most of those?
We did. I mean, to tour the Micronesia Guam mission alone from one island, one expanse to the other, would be like traveling from New York to California. It was that big. It took 2 weeks to tour the Micronesia Guam mission. Huh. And each island speaks a different language, which means that the missionaries really, either they're brought to Guam occasionally where they speak some English, but other than that, they don't get transferred to different places on those little islands because they would have to learn a whole new language. So they're really stalwarts that serve there. And the Philippines are wonderful, sweet, spiritual people. They are really ready to hear the gospel, as well as anyone we've ever been around. But there's so much poverty in the Philippines, and just wonderful, wonderful, sweet people. We had wonderful experiences there as well. We lived in airplanes traveling all of that area virtually. Had a lot of interesting experiences on airplanes sometimes where they weren't functioning all that well. And I remember once we were up in Rabaul, way north, and as we were flying from there back to Australia, we got on the plane and she looked over and the escape door we were next to was wired shut with baling wire. And she said, I wonder if they give you pliers to undo this in case we have an accident. So we had a lot of interesting experiences. And flying to some of the little islands in the South Pacific, they would weigh the people before you got on the plane to see how much weight it could have. And we had times where they even took some people off the plane because they were too heavy to make room for the mission president we were with in some of those islands.
Oh my goodness.
And that was embarrassing for us to see where they would come on and take a heavy-set woman or a heavy-set man off. So you've got to get off, you'll have to wait for the next plane, because they were just small and could only hold so much weight. So we've had a lot of interesting experiences, but love the people every place we've been. Love them.
It's often said that the Filipinos are so warm and engaging. What were the things that those people in particular really resonated?
Coming close to understand Jesus Christ and the family. Those two things resonated with every place we went, but especially with Polynesians and with Filipinos. That really resonated with them. To feel the Spirit of Jesus Christ and talk about it, because they all felt they knew Jesus Christ and they loved Him. And when it was explained to them, the plan of salvation, they just resonated with it. And it was much easier to baptize people when they resonated with it than if they didn't.
Yeah.
And that was true in both Polynesia and the Philippines and in Micronesia. The work was very successful in all of those areas.